welcome to Binging with Badness, the only podcast that's got hoes in different area codes. That's going to make sense when you find out who's in this movie. My name is Mitchell McIntyre.
And I'm Vanessa Vogel.
And somehow we decided to keep going with this because we are on Too Fast, Too Furious, which is, I think outside of the Fate of the Furious, the dumbest name in the series.
You think so?
Yes, because it's Too Fast, number 2 Fast, number 2 Furious.
Yes.
And Fate of the Furious is almost clever.
But, like, what else are you going to call it? Fast and the Furious 2? We all would have sat here and called it, you should have called it Too Fast, Too Furious, goddammit.
Ah, shit, she's right. But yes, so this movie was released in 2003, and it was probably the first movie in the Racing is Cool Now series. Because I've said this before, you guys have heard me say this. When Fast and the Furious came out, we realized street racing was cool. Mm-hmm. Now this movie is aware street racing is cool and that it's their fault. So, I found a lot of the shots, and let me know if you felt the same way, especially at the beginning of the movie, were very like, yeah, look at this shit.
Apparently, nitrous oxide can cause the time stream continuum to go loopy.
Okay, I wrote that down. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I didn't feel like this in the first movie, but here in the second movie, when they hit the nitrous oxide button, it's not like you go from like 100 miles per hour to 120 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. That's what it's trying to show. But what it does show is us going from 100 miles an hour to 412 miles an hour, breaking the sound barrier and lighting everything around us on fire.
Yeah, I'm not kidding about the time stream continuum. If you guys ever watch Doctor Who, and you can see how everything turns into a blur when they go through the continuum, same effect, guys.
Oh, so as you can tell, we literally just got done watching the movie. I think you finished a little bit before I did. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of stuff to say on this one. I don't want to give away my whole opinion right off the hop.
I was about to say that's the point of the podcast.
Yeah, but I liked this one better than the first one. I did.
Because it lacks Vin Diesel?
No, I do find Tyrese Gibson. Okay, well, I'll explain who's in it. Too Fast, Too Furious is a 2003 action film directed by, and this surprised the hell out of me, John Singleton. Now, if you don't know who John Singleton is, you will probably know the movie he did, which was Boys in the Hood, which is a seminal movie about what it's like to be a black youth in America. One of the best movies ever made, and it's half the reason you know who Ice Cube is.
Oh. And he made Too Fast, Too Furious.
And he made Too Fast, not even The Fast and the Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes.
He also did movies like Four Brothers. He did a movie called Shaft. Remember the Shaft movie starring Samuel L. Jackson? Uh-huh. That was him. He's a big name in like black film directors. And he did Too Fast, Too Furious.
Look, we all gotta cash a paycheck sometime.
This is a little bit like finding out that Martin Scorsese did Ant-Man. Like, okay, I kind of get it, but also, huh? It is a standalone sequel to The Fast and the Furious. There's only one character holdover, and that's Brian O'Connor. Everybody else is gone.
Yeah.
This movie is basically a spin-off. Like,
yeah.
So, naturally, it stars Paul Walker, Tyrese Gibson, Eva Mendes, Cole Hauser, Chris Ludacris Bridges, and James Remar. You probably know all of those people, except for maybe Cole Hauser, who I don't really know. All of them do okay. Like, you don't come to this series for solid acting, but you ain't gonna find it here. So everybody's okay. Tyrese Gibson, yeah, this is his first Fast and the Furious movie, obviously, but not his last.
No,
like I thought. Honestly, if I'm gonna be real with you, Of course, I don't really know the series much, but I thought that they would kind of cut this movie out entirely. I did not think we'd be back, but apparently his character appears in like Fast and Furious 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8.
But what if it's like that one NBA game where it was a ghost the whole time? Remember?
Oh, no. Well, no, Roman didn't die, though, right? So,
well, we didn't think your friend in the
Spoiler
NBA
alert.
game died either, but then the power of his ghost made you feel guilt.
if you don't know what she's talking about, it's NBA 2K, I want to say 16, written by Spike Lee. You guys remember that? If you haven't, look which one of it is. The story mode is written by Spike Lee. It is the most batshit storyline for a sports game I have ever heard.
Yeah, it's very little about sports and more about how it sucks.
Yeah.
Just in general, not basketball. Just like
Just it.
fame, fortune, being alive. I don't know.
So Tyrese Gibson, you don't really hear of him a lot. Like, you probably heard the name, but you probably don't, really know him. But he has been a recurring role in two of the highest grossing film franchises of all time. Fast and the Furious and...
Transformers?
Transformers!
Is he the black robot?
No, that's actually played by a white guy.
Okay, we have some words about Transformers.
Okay, so we're not doing Transformers, but I worry that at some point we will. And I hate the Transformers movies so much.
Yeah, you should. They're bad.
I really like Transformers 1. I think it's a solid movie.
And then they threw all that progress out the window for 2 through 10 or whatever.
I saw the second movie on Blu-ray. I watched about half of it. I left to get some air, and I never came back.
Still getting there.
Still getting there to this day.
So he's not the black robot.
No, that was actually Tom Kenny.
Who's a white man.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Wait, SpongeBob did a black voice in...
Are you talking about Skids and Mudflap, or are you talking about Jet?
I'm talking about the robot that's very clearly supposed to be black.
Yeah, that's Skids and Mud. Anyway, Tyrese Gibson is also in movies called Flight of the Phoenix, which is a solid little movie. It's a remake of the original. Annapolis, which is also okay. Death Race, which sucks. And is a solo artist with 7 solo albums.
Oh, good for him.
I had no idea.
Who signed him?
I'm not sure, but enough to get 7 albums out of it.
I'm about to say, if it's like some big thing like Murder Inc., good job for you.
Yeah, I feel like this was this is something I knew but didn't like really realize.
Yeah.
But anyway, so early treatments of this sequel initially did feature Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. This was supposed to be a direct sequel, but Vin Diesel figured, I'm too good for this. I'm going to do The Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh dear.
I feel like, Vin Diesel, who I don't know, so I don't, feel comfortable.
I think you'd like him. He likes D&D.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like at this point in his career, he thought he was a bigger deal than he was.
Or at least on the fast track to being a bigger deal.
Yeah, and started
throwing his weight around?
Yeah, and this is kind of a down tip. Because if you remember, before Fast and Furious 4, he was nowhere. He was nowhere for 5 years. And then now, the Fast and Furious 4 came out, and now he's a big deal again. Because he stuck to his guns and raced cars.
What he's good at.
Taking place months after the events of the first film, ex-police officer Brian O'Connor is on the run from the law after letting Dominic Toretto leave scot-free.
Hold up. It's only been months?
Yeah, it has not been very long.
Months.
He traveled... So, the original movie took place in California.
Yes, out in L.A.
Out in L.A. This movie takes place in Miami, Florida, which, for those of you who are not American, means on the other goddamn side of the country.
Yes. Honestly, I'm amazed there's not more gators in this movie.
That would be fun. Although Miami is a very nice locale.
Yeah, but it's also the home of people like Jason Mendoza.
This is true. Well, that's Jacksonville.
Yeah, but Jacksonville in Florida.
Florida is Florida. So this is something I didn't realize until I started doing research for the movie. There is 2 prequel films in the Fast and the Furious series. There's 2 short films. And the first one is called, and I'm not joking here, Turbocharged, prequel for Too Fast, Too Furious.
Is it just him moving for like 20 minutes?
Basically, it is. So it was available on the DVD, and it was a short film released. Mm-hmm. And when I say short film, I mean it because it is 6 minutes long.
Oh. Just him packing a U-Haul?
Well, I'll tell you because I watched it, so you don't have to. It's not like it's not bad. Mm-hmm. It's just unnecessary. I will read you the entire plot right here and now. Brian packs his bags to leave Los Angeles because the LAPD is on his ass. I appreciate that there is actual consequences to him letting Dominic Toretto go.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And let's not forget he shot a suspect.
This is true. Also, the FBI has launched a national manhunt for him, which is why they were on his ass so quickly in this movie.
I see.
He basically travels across Arizona to Texas, down the ways, and he makes money through street racing. Shock, surprise. Mm-hmm. However, at one point, he's forced to ditch his car in San Antonio because the police officers are notified of his presence. They come to collect the car, so he just, like, hitches a ride with some random lady. Mm-hmm. She knows who he really is. But she does nothing about it. So she drops her off. He buys the Nissan Skyline, the car at the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
He gets it repainted. He gets it all modified because apparently he's rich as fuck.
Is street racing like
lucrative?
Fucking lucrative, and I don't know about it.
Well, at the beginning he won $10,000. So yeah. So he wins more races. That's all this movie is shots of races, obviously. He reaches Jacksonville and heads south towards Miami, where he sees two guys, Slapjack and Orange Julius.
Sure.
Yeah. Members of Retribution in the WWE, I guess. And then he sees the cars and he drives up and then it says, "To be continued."
Oh boy.
That's it. That's the movie. Thanks for coming. So it's just a little all this stuff can be extrapolated because you didn't see it and I assume you kind of figured out what happened.
Yeah, somehow he ended up in Florida and now he's Street Jesus. And
yeah.
I guess we just threw all the stuff about, LA under the fucking bus.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the movie proper, shall we?
All right, let's do it.
Curtain up. We go from the Universal logo, which gets transformed into a spinning rim with hydraulics on it.
Should we just play the Chris Rock? I think it's Chris Rock scene where it's just like, they're spinning! Yeah. They're spinning!
I have written here, it's going to be this kind of movie. This is, spinning rims were such a big fucking deal at this point. John Cena took the WWE Championship and made it a spinner belt.
Yeah, but we were so sick of spinner belts, that was a heel move.
No, actually. He was the good guy at the time. Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Remember, he was cool.
Was he?
Yeah. Which, it made sense for him. Problem is it lasted until 2009.
I'm just saying, at this point in the time stream continuum, John Cena's popping in between my episodes of Doctor Who being like, "Hi, I'm John Cena. Why are you watching Doctor Who?" And I'm like, "Because I want to. Get out of my episode."
We see some people down the road putting down road closed signs, which is at least a step up from the last movie where we just closed the roads for fun.
Yeah, we just had a dude block the road off.
And we have an illegal underground street race, which, much like the first movie, is the loudest goddamn thing I've ever heard.
Do people not live on these streets?
I guess not.
They just chill with this?
We get introduced to Tej Parker, played by Chris Ludacris Bridges. If you're wondering why I'm saying his entire name, that's because that is how he is credited. Chris Ludacris Bridges. Who seems to run the whole thing constantly. Yeah. He runs a...
He seems to be a booker.
Yeah, basically. He runs a garage, kind of like Dom in the first movie, but every street race goes through him.
I mean, it's a very lucrative profession based on the premise of the movie.
Yeah. So we get kind of a run through of all of the people at this race, and they're all as charming as you would imagine. Mm-hmm. We don't see any one of them again except for Suki, played by Devon Aoki. Mm-hmm. Devon Aoki is a terrible actress.
She is. She really
She is, I think she's a martial artist.
That tracks. But I don't know why she's doing here if she's a martial artist.
Yeah, she's a martial artist, which doesn't come in handy here, because what comes in handy here is the fact that she looks good in the bikini.
Yeah, and she'll seduce anyone that we tell her to. So.
Yeah. Every car looks like it has gone through Pimp My Ride. Because everything, like, they open up the trunk and out pops the stereo and, like, the bass is thumping. At one point, they play a Ludacris song, diegetically.
Yeah.
And Ludacris is right over there. So
he must just look like Ludacris.
I was going to say, which must make... By the way, diegesis is when you play the music. If a music is diegetic, it means it's within the universe of the movie. They hear what we hear.
Yeah, the character can hear the music.
That's my film school rundown for you right there. So I have written here, they play a song by Ludacris himself, which asks a whole lot of questions about this universe.
Well, doppelgangers, motherfucker.
Yeah. So these guys are trying to set up a race. They need 4. They only have 3. So Ludacris is like, you need a 4th. Who's it going to be? And he's like, I don't know. You pick somebody. He goes, I can pick somebody. I can pick anybody. You have no problem with who I pick. And the guy's like, I guess. Why are you making this a big deal? So he calls up somebody. He's like, hey, you want a race? He's like, yeah, you know I need the money. And it comes out, it's supposed to be like a surprise that it's Brian, but it flashes, like, when he picks up the phone, a very Paul Walker-shaped shadow standing in the middle of the room. And you're like, I bet I know who that is.
In the dark. Like, why are you in the dark in your own house, man?
It was dark. Maybe he's trying to sleep.
Yeah, but, like, as, like... What was it? Premise in the first movie. The man sleeps with the lights on. Like
That's true. Brian pulls up in his fancy new Nissan Skyline in the most pornographic shot of a car I have ever seen. It's like slow motion. It's down like the curves of the car, and like Brian gets out. Devin Aoki has her one funny line, which is like, as he steps out, she goes, "Oh shit, it's Brian." So the races here are very slick. They're very like one shot. You really get to see like how cool the cars are. They start the race. Brian comes in and he's like, "Why don't we make this for more money?" And they're like, "I don't want to." And they're just like, "Then you can leave."
Okay, but like, this is a terrible premise of this race because they said they need 4 to race. So if you don't want to pay more money, you can withdraw, and you have all the power in this particular thing.
Exactly.
Why pay more money? You can just say, all right, I'll go home. Good luck running a 3-man race again.
Oh,
We're going to find another person. We already had problems finding Brian. Like, who the fuck?
Who else you got?
Who else you got? So you pay more money for the same thing? What the fuck, guys? Aren't you supposed to be smart?
No. So the race starts. All 4 of them go on. They're the 2 people without names. And then Brian and Suki.
Angry Hispanic man and not Ludacris.
Yeah. So the race is like super over the top. You can see like the speed and their drive. It looks kind of cool, but
Time scene continuum. Yes.
yeah. At one point, Suki passes somebody, and she goes, "Move, bitch!" But then doesn't go, "Get out the way!" Ludacris was right there. Are you not trying? Also, the movie seems to assume that you're not watching, because at one point, one of them obviously takes a turn too wide. And then Brian goes, "Ha, too wide." Thank you, Brian. I got that.
We got that, yeah.
And then as they race, Ludacris is like, "I got something special for them." And they race over a bridge, and so he raises the bridge, so the bridge turns into a ramp, which I am just now realizing was foreshadowing the ending.
Was it? Oh, fuck.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Oh, fuck.
You hit it? You'll find out why in a sec. And so, like, the bridge goes up, and then Brian goes, "Bridge." Thank you, Brian. I, too, am watching this movie. So, they go up the thing. Brian races up and jumps over somebody. Obviously, he wins, because that's how it goes. There's Suki's in last, and so Brian beats the one guy, and he kind of like turns out of the way. The other guy bails out completely and doesn't take the jump.
Yeah.
And so Suki jumps it, and then for some reason goes, "Woo! Smack that ass!" Thank you, Suki.
She loses her bumper entirely. That's not relevant. She just
the
car is now missing.
Car gets messed up. Anyway, Brian wins, and he gets $10,000. A lot of sexual innuendo gets thrown around about cars. Because I think Suki and Tej are like a thing, or like they're kind of flirty.
They're flirty, and then after this scene, I think they become
a thing, I believe. So like her, like you said, her bumper falls off, and Ludacris goes, "Hey, make sure you bring that body by the garage. We'll work on that front end." Ew.
Apparently, she finds this attractive because she's just like, yeah, okay.
Which she likes, and hey, if she likes it, God bless you. The cops show up and break up the race, which is mirroring the first movie.
Yeah.
Except this time, Dom gets arrested, or Brian gets arrested instead of Dom, because Dom's not in this one. However, no one saves Brian.
Yeah.
They do, however, shoot a harpoon through his car.
Yeah, they have this new thing where apparently they'll shoot a harpoon into your car and it'll turn off the...
It'll EMP it.
Yeah. Which... What year is it?
2003.
Yeah, there isn't enough electronics in a car to pull that off yet.
Yeah. I do think it's funny because it's the exact same harpoon from the first movie.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the thing that they shoot into the seat. Only this one is an EMP.
What a weird universe we live in.
Yeah, right? So the cops bring him into the precinct knowing who he is. He's Brian O'Connor. And they want him, for some reason, to take down Carter Varone, who was a big Argentinian drug lord.
Because we have to make him a cop again somehow.
Yeah, right? He wants drivers, good drivers.
Yeah.
And Brian is a good driver. And a former cop.
And his boss is here again somehow?
Was it the same boss?
Yeah. He was the guy who looked at him and be like, you got 36 hours! Which apparently means 2 movies.
Oh, excuse me. I did not remember him at all.
Yeah, same dude.
And it's only been a week. So they bring him in and they're like, hey, you have broken so many laws.
Like many.
We can arrest you and you can stay in prison for a long ass time. Or you can help us and we'll wipe your slate completely clean.
Didn't we actually offer this to, like, Catch Me If You Can guy? Like...
I don't think they wiped him clean, but yeah.
I'm just saying, you were so impressive that we decided to let you
go. Yeah, that's, by the way, if you haven't seen Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio, it's such a good movie.
It is such a good movie. Go watch that movie. No, but my point being is it's kind of funny because be like, you are arrested for so many things. And he starts flipping through the pages, and you think it'd be like 1 or 2 pages, and then he keeps going, and it's like 5 or 6 pages.
It's a book.
Like, eventually, the joke starts circling on itself, just how funny, like, how long his rap sheet is.
So, they're like, hey, we'll wipe your slate clean, because they need a good driver. You're going to go in with a partner, this guy, and, like, you guys will go in. And so he goes up to his new partner, and he's like, hey, car words. And the guy's like, I don't know. He goes, see? He's going to get us killed. So, I get to pick my own partner. And, like, in your head, you're like, this is where Dominic Toretto comes in. No. He goes, I'm going to pick my own partner. Who is it? Some guy.
Somebody that told me. Okay, but, like, the soda guy, he appears in every scene hereafter whenever we go to meet this guy.
Yeah.
He has no purpose other than to stand there and
I don't even think he has a line.
Not really. After this whole, do I put soda or gasoline in my car bit?
Yeah. So he gets a childhood friend of his, who we are hitherto unaware of, named Roman Pierce, played by Tyrese Gibson. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Roman isn't a fan of Brian, because they go to a demolition derby.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, where they're just smashing cars into each other. It's a demolition derby, and Roman's one of the drivers, and they're like, he's a good driver. How do you tell? He's slamming into people. We pan down, and he's wearing an ankle brace. He is on house arrest. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, why, if he's on house arrest, why is he here? 2 reasons. 1, you're allowed to make a living if you're under house arrest.
Yeah.
Number 2, his house is right over there. He lives in a trailer.
Yeah, so, if you rig the system, it still works.
And it's kind of funny because they explained that. It's like, if you're on house arrest, why are you here? He goes, why do you think I parked so close to the track?
Also, with house arrest, you're allowed to leave between the hours of 9 and 5.
Yeah, you're allowed to make a living.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to mention, there is an undercover cop working inside Verone's outfit. She's gone dark. They believe she might have flipped. but they don't know. This is another reason why they brought Brian in, because Brian flipped. And I do like that they don't really, like, the movie treats Brian as, like, he made the good choice. But all the cops are like, are you a fucking moron? It's like, we brought you in because you flipped and you know what the psyche is like. So did she flip or not?
And he's just like, IDK.
Yeah, he gets asked 2 or 3 times, and all of them he's like, I don't know, I don't think so. Thanks for coming, Brian.
Useless.
Useless, all of you. So Roman is not a fan of Brian. Because the second they meet, he, like, walks by him. And Brian's like, Roman! And he stops and he goes, only my homies get to call me Roman. Pig. And so he asks, and he's like, I'm no longer a cop. And he asks the sergeant who's with him, he goes, is that true? He's no longer a cop? He goes, yep, he's no longer a police officer. He goes, all right. He turns and he punches Brian in the face. And they start to fight because men.
Yes.
And the only thing Brian can do, like, Roman's on top and he's, like, clearly winning. And then Brian goes, you still fight like shit. You still fight like shit. Even though he's getting his ass kicked.
Which is a very man thing to do, I've noticed.
It so is. Basically, Roman did 3 years in prison for something that he feels Brian could have helped with. We find out later that Brian had nothing to do with Roman going to prison.
Yeah.
But Roman, who did do something illegal. This isn't like
it involved 8 hot cars, yes.
He broke the law while Brian was a cop. And so he thought Brian could get him out of it, and he didn't.
Because how do you bail someone out with 8 hot cars?
Yeah. And actually, so this is far, far later in the film. But they kind of have a talk with each other about the whole thing that went down. And Brian feels bad because he couldn't help Roman out. Because there was no way to help you. And then Roman said, honestly, you shouldn't have done anything. Like, I was just mad at something. And it turned out to be you. And then Roman says, is that why you let that guy go in Los Angeles? And Brian goes, yeah, I think so. Which would have been great character moment to know in the first movie. Because this, honestly, it adds to Brian's character. Because it really kind of comes out of nowhere that Brian lets Dominic go.
Yeah, because we wanted a sequel.
Yeah, because, like, really, the reason he let him go is because, I don't know, Dom's nice.
Dom's cool. He's my friend.
He was nice to me, so I guess...
And he definitely didn't walk out of his house with a 12-gauge shotgun running to kill some people.
Yeah. And so that is why he let Dominic go, is because he had this thing he felt like he was making up for with Roman. Like I said, that would have been really nice to know in the first movie when that made sense. But it's nice to know now because we know what's going on in a series. That's fun little character moment. So they explained the deal and basically said, if you help us out, Roman, your entire rap sheet is going to be clean. So he's like, it's like, I don't know, man, I can't trust you. And Brian goes, stop pretending like you're not going to take this. To which he's like, yeah. So for the mission, they are issued 2 confiscated modified cars. A Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 7 and a Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider with a Y GTS. And the movie reveals what kind of movie this is going to be. So we have the guy from the last movie, and then we have James Remar, who you guys know as Dexter's dad, and also Raiden from Mortal Kombat Annihilation, otherwise known as Budget Raiden. And he immediately, like, calls out what this movie is going to be. Because he's like, if these 2 knuckleheads give you trouble, you let me know. Okay, we're doing a strange bedfellows buddy cop movie. So the lady who is undercover is played by Eva Mendes, or Ava Mendes. I don't really know if there's a difference. I think it's Ava. Otherwise known as Monica. She is going to be there. She is their undercover cop. And I thought... for a minute, they were going to do her as a love interest.
Yeah.
And he got over Mia real quickly. But they honestly don't. They kiss a couple times.
Yeah. But mostly, we're just trying to figure out what Eva Mendes's whole deal is.
Yeah. So we kind of learn about Monica for a little bit. She hops in the car with Brian, and he does this thing where like he drives and like stares at her, and then like he gets faster and faster and faster and doesn't take his eyes off of her, and then stops. This is supposed to be like some like flirty driving. What it is horrifying.
Yeah, let me endanger your life, my life, and everyone around us so I can prove just what kind of man that I am.
Roman stops beside him and goes like, "You did the stare and drive, didn't you? You got that from me. That's my thing. You got that from me." Like, that's supposed to be a good flirtatious thing and not insane.
Completely, utterly insane.
They go to the main bad guy's big bad guy compound. And he's like...
It's like a $12 billion mansion.
He's trying to be Pablo Escobar by way of Tony Montana.
Yeah.
Like, okay. No. He's like, basically, here's what's going down. They locked up my Ferrari. I don't care about the car. I care about the package in the car. Mm-hmm. And there's like maybe 10 criminals around.
Yeah, something like that.
Because you guys are going to team up, pick your partner. First person to bring me back the package wins. Mm-hmm. And away we go.
At some point, she stole all their licenses, and I never saw her give them back. So
yeah, she steals all their licenses. For him, it was just be like, this will track them. But obviously, she's giving them to the cops. So we have our first big like driving action sequence. I think these are done well in this movie. There's one that comes at the end, which is better than anything in the first movie. But this one is kind of dumb because they're like Roman and Brian have like a little drive off where they're like, doing anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything better than you.
And let's face it, they're flirting with each other. Make it gay, you cowards. At one point, Brian, like, he's driving in front of Roman. He spins his car backwards, begins driving in reverse, and stares, like, Roman in the eye. And, like, he does that for, like, a mile.
And Roman's just like, oh, fuck you, white boy.
Yeah. And he's like, woo, that's the Brian O'Connor School of Driving, and, like, sticks his middle finger out like it works for AEW.
And I like the fact that Roman is just completely unimpressed.
He no-sells the whole thing. At one point, one of the, what do I call them? Red shirts.
Dies!
Yeah, he drives under the truck like they did in the first movie. And I was like, okay, that's a nice throwback. But he fucks up, goes sideways, and the truck runs over him, smashing the car to bits, presumably killing him instantly.
Yeah, no, trailers are insanely, like, if it's
they're
enough...
tons.
Yeah, they're tons of weight. And on top of that, that is like 6 tires going over you at the same time.
Yeah.
And all that coming down, that guy is dead. That guy is a soup, and he is dead.
The movie obviously treats this with no gravitas whatsoever.
Yeah, another guy hits his car and dies too.
There's no, like, oh my god. It's just like a lot of, woo, fuck that, woo, man.
Like, there wouldn't be some sort of police reaction to the fact that a man was squished to death in a drag racing accident on the freeway. I know Florida's a fucking, like, trash fire, but come on, guys.
It's not that bright a trash fire. At one point, Brian hits his, like, NOS button, and we get that CGI run through the car we got in the first movie. But instead of watching the NOS cap go, we see this little red blinky light. Which is our indication that the cops have the car's GPS tracked. And so we cut to the police, and James Remar is watching, and they're like, where is he? Where are they going? And he goes, he's running. I knew it. Let's go. You don't know shit.
You really don't. Throughout the entirety of the movie, this guy makes every wrong call that you could think of.
He's the worst police officer, and I'm including Brian.
I was about to say, since Brian O'Connor.
I'm including Brian, because Brian had, like, a moment where he's like, I don't know, man, this is tough for me, because he's undercover. James Remar is not undercover. He's just watching every single time Brian and Roman do anything. It's like, he's running. Get him!
Like, you guys pull the wool weight of the law down on this guy, but one, he hasn't committed any violent crimes that I can think of.
No, he's
and
literally...
2, the car has LoJack on it, guys. You don't have to bring him down. You hit a button and the car will stop.
Also, you sent them to be racers. That's why you sent them there. If the car is still in the state of Florida, hell, if the car is still in the city of Miami,
yeah,
you're okay.
Yeah. Shh. It's okay. You're okay, buddy. Why didn't you wire the car with a microphone?
Yeah. There's a lot of issues here. But anyway, so he sends a SWAT team, including himself, to go get Brian and Roman. Brian and Roman make it to the lot first, because if they didn't, we wouldn't have a movie.
Fact.
And they run in, they find the car, they get the package.
There was a brief thirst trap of him taking off his damn shirt.
Why did that happen?
I don't know. This isn't pandering towards women, so I don't know.
It really isn't.
No.
Like, that might be, like, why, but this movie is not, a movie pandering to women.
Women or gay men.
Maybe.
Arguably. But still, he took off his shirt because, damn, look at him.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
And at one point, he goes, would you put your shirt back on? So they get the thing. 2 other guys show up. They pop up kind of periodically throughout the movie.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, we're going to get him. We'll shoot him. Yeah, let's do this. We're men. And before they can do that, the cops show up. James Remar and co. And they're just like, fuck, why are they here? We're on their side. Mm-hmm. And so Roman starts shooting at them.
Yeah, because fuck the police.
To keep his cover up. And then they drive away. They get back to the big bad guy evil compound. Mm-hmm. And they're like arguing with each other. And they're trying to write Eva Mendes as like the tough girl character, kind of like what they did with Ana Lucia in the last movie. But all they give her to say is stuff like, you guys fight like girls. Yeah. It's like, are you girls done squawking yet? Or something like that. They're trying to set up with the fact that Brian is like obsessed with Eva Mendes' character, despite the fact that they've known each other all of 20 minutes, and like it's gonna get them killed. Mm-hmm. Tyrese is frequently like, "You got to get your head in the game, man. I already know you." Bruh.
Did he say anything about Mia? Didn't he know something about Mia, or was I making that up?
I don't think he knew something about another girl, but it wasn't Mia.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't think Mia was.
Oh, right. Her name was Tanya.
Tanya. Yep. Yeah. It's like, what do you know about Tanya? It's like, you dated her after me.
Well, I couldn't let something that great go to waste, now could I?
So, they get this job with, Veranda. Veranda? That's not his name.
I don't know.
Whatever. Big bad guy.
With Pablo
Escobar. And, they're like, awesome. We'll come here later. They go to Tej's garage to get their cars checked out and see what's in them. Mm-hmm. And Tej is doing a Sudoku race because all this man knows is racing.
Cool.
Just Tej and Suki chilling.
That's true. He was racing boats. And I mean, like, your boy gotta make money when you ain't racing cars, right?
Yeah.
So...
also, at this moment in the film, we're probably, 30 minutes in?
Something like that.
Brian and Roman are best friends again.
That's true. We threw that right back. Like, we threw the whole rivalry thing right into the bus.
Like, Brian's got his arm wrapped around him, like, what's up, buddy? And they never fight again, I don't think. So that was out of here. And I was going to say, they have no animosity, despite the fact that Roman just fired on the cops and actually stole one of Verone's cigar cutters.
Yeah, spoiler, the thing that we went to get the Ferrari from was a fucking cigar.
It was a cigar, yeah. It wasn't anything important. It was a job interview.
And on top of that, it was his car lot.
Yeah, so James Remar shows up at a thing, and he's pissed off, and he pushes Roman, and they start to fight because men. Mm-hmm. Which is not professional.
Nope.
Like, I hate to sound like Mr. Pink, but we're not being professional.
Goddamn professionals around here.
Yeah. And so, they basically calm the FBI down by saying there was an upcoming job that we're going to work on. Basically, there's going to be money someplace. We're going to go collect that money. We're going to bring it to him at an airstrip. He's going to fly away, and we're never going to see him again.
Yeah. Sounds good, right?
Yeah. And they're like, so Eva Mendes, Monica, has she flipped? And Brian's just like, I don't know.
IDK.
And Roman is like, what the fuck are they talking? Why are they asking you? And they're like, hey, here's some explanation about him, about your buddy. But this immediately kind of puts Roman on edge. Like, well, now I can't deal. Now I got to deal with you two ways. Afterwards, Brian and Roman realize that they have these low jacks on their cars. And they can't basically trust the FBI to not get in their way again. So they race those two guys from earlier. Who got a guy who's pulled the guns on him before the cops showed up. And they're like, hey, you have good cars. Give us good cars. And they're like, how about race? And they're like, that makes sense. So they set up a race for pink slips. And Brian's like, hey, we're screwed. Because their cars are significantly faster than ours. So we got to pull out some bullshit to win. So basically what's going to happen, it's a tag team race. Roman goes first. You go uppy downy. And then you tag into Brian, and Brian goes uppy downy. Naturally, you guys kind of crisscross on the way. So Roman goes. He goes uppy downy. But he basically loses. And then,
yeah, because they threw a fucking sign in his way.
Yeah.
Like, your boy played dirty.
And then Brian goes uppy downy. But as Brian goes uppy, the bad guy is going downy. And so Brian just like drives in front of him and they play chicken for a while. And then eventually the bad guy like steers off and crashes. And so Brian can go uppy downy and win. This is where I realized that they've turned Brian O'Connor into street racing Jesus. I don't like in the first movie.
He was good.
He was good, but he wasn't like superhuman.
No. But I guess between the two movies, he's done so much racing.
He's just turned into God. Because, like, here, he's unflappable. He's unwavering. He's just like, I'm amazing, and I know it. And he does nothing to, like, change that whatsoever.
Not even a little bit. No.
So he's just God. And this is where they do the NOS button. And this is where we turn, like, from 160 miles per hour to 420. Because like the screen like you said, the screen like melds in the background.
The background just becomes a series of lights. Again, time stream continuum.
It's a whole thing.
It's that same effect that you gave with Star Trek when they hit the warp drive.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like you can see all the lights like flash by. They're blinded by the light.
You know, they would be squished literally into like some sort of soupy pancake because I don't think the human body is made to
Go ahead.
deal with any of that shit.
And demonetized. we can't keep singing because we're too perfect. But yeah, it really does. And they would be pushed, like I said, so far back into the seat. So Brian wins because of course they do.
Because how else will this movie progress?
Yeah. So they go to a fancy club that is owned by the bad guy, I think. Or he has like access to the VIP area.
Yeah, after they won their initial race of job interview, he was like, come to my club, we do business. He's not Russian, but I don't that's the accent that I picked.
Excellent. No, germs. So they bring him back to the club, and they're just like, hey, sit down, have some club. And they bring back another bent police officer.
Yeah. Or they know he's a police officer, so...
Yeah, they know it, everybody knows it. And they're just like, hey, we need a 20-minute window with no police escort. I need you to do it. And he's like, you know what, man, I'm out. I told you I was out. I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, okay. And so they bring him down, and they start to torture him.
Yeah.
This part confused me.
Why would it confuse you? What?
Okay.
What do you mean?
So here's the method of torture. Vernon has a big rat.
Yes.
And he puts the rat on his stomach. Then he puts a metal bucket on the rat on his stomach.
Yeah.
And then he heats up the bucket.
Yeah.
This is apparently causing the rat to tunnel through his stomach.
To freak the fuck out, yes.
Is that how this would work?
In real life?
Yeah, like, is that what a rat would do?
No. Well, rats do chew through damn near anything, right?
Yeah.
Because rats are fucking psycho. So.
But, like, is this a well-known thing? Because I've never heard...
Well, its survival instinct, right, would be to try to get the fuck out of that bucket.
Yeah.
But also, in the time... It would take a while to heat up that bucket for the rat to realize that something's fucking wrong.
Yeah, and they only do it for 30 seconds, maybe at most. Because he takes it off sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
So
if anything, he's probably just running the risk of burning his own hand on a bucket.
Yeah. And so it's supposed to be like, this is two things. One, it's a disturbing change in tone.
Yeah.
And two, it's really stupid because it's a rat with a bucket on it. Like, and then like, it's not the most visually interesting method of torture I've ever seen. So it's like this weird, like, okay, why are we doing this?
He's being repeatedly bitten and, like, scratched by a rat, which fucking sucks.
That sucks, but, like, it's in a bucket. And so, I don't know. I thought it was silly, and it's this weird, like I said, it's a far too dark change in tone.
Yeah, he's screaming, and then Ava.
Right. So, go ahead.
She puts her... It's a test of loyalty, I guess. I don't know what the fuck was happening in this scene. He didn't say anything. She just walked over on her own fucking volition. Like, puts her hands over his mouth to get him from stop screaming.
Yeah. But while she does it, like, she puts her hands over the mouth, and she looks disgusted. Mm-hmm. Like, she's terrified. Later in the movie, Roman goes, I don't know, man. I don't trust her. You see the way she walked over that easily? Just like it was nothing. No, she didn't. She was terrified the whole time.
Yeah, but also, he didn't have to ask her to do it.
Yeah.
And so your two boys in the back are just sitting there like, all right, this is happening.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it's well established, they could take him.
They absolutely could. So yeah, it was just, it's a weirdly silly scene. Also, when he agrees to give them the 20-minute window, they put the bucket off, and then the rat leaves, and there's like very little marks on his stomach. Like he has kind of like the burn mark around.
Yeah.
And there's like a little scratch here and there.
Which I don't think would happen, because if you heat up a bucket at the bottom of the bucket...
Bottom goes first. And I don't think
the heat would go down. It would make more sense if he just heated the bucket and the rim and then like seared it on him.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really weird. There's no like, I didn't expect it to be like blood and like...
Not Quentin Tarantino up in
Yeah,
here,
but it wasn't like... But the amount of screaming and fighting he did, it wasn't that bad.
I thought he was just going to cut him open like a pig. Like that's
me too. At one point, the guy who plays the bad guy self-censors himself.
That's true. I thought that was the movie.
No, this movie's rated PG-13. So what he wants to say, because he's got the blowtorch and he blows over him, he goes, "I will burn your fucking eyes out." But it's not like the movie like censors itself.
Yeah.
You can actually see him go. Somebody forgot it was rated PG-13.
But we got away with it because we didn't actually say the word.
Later that night, Eva Mendes goes to wake Brian up in his little houseboat.
Yeah. He lives on a boat now. I don't know when that was established, but
yeah,
it happens.
She's like, hey, Vernon is going to kill you the second you guys drop off the money. Like, you're screwed. So this is over. Go to your CO and say, like, tell them what's going on. You're done because they're going to kill you. It's not worth it. So the two bad guys from before show up and they're like, we found you. You were followed. And we have this like weird little standoff, which isn't really tense. And then Vernon shows up and he's like, hey, also I'm here. Everybody stop pointing guns at each other. I will see you tomorrow, the day of the big heist. Also, these two guys, you guys are going to take different cars, and then these guys are going to be with you. Just so I can make sure that nothing goes off incorrectly.
I mean, half the thing of being a gangster is being paranoid as fuck, right? So
yeah, which makes sense. Makes things a little bit more difficult. And I guess Monica got out in time because when Vernon arrives at home, she's lounging by the pool.
Also, she's an escape artist. Somehow she got off a houseboat undetected.
Yeah, it was impressive. Brian and Roman tell the FBI what's going on. And they're like, this is what he's gonna go. He's gonna go to a plane, and he's gonna go off for good. But they're gonna kill us if we do it. And then the guy from the last movie is like, well, then we got to pull you out. This is ridiculous. And James Romaro's like, no, this is our last chance to do it. This is our only chance to do it. You're going to go out and you're going to die trying. And Brian's like, that is literally the option.
That is literally what he told us to do, yeah. And then our other boy is just like, this is such a stupid fucking idea.
And then Dexter's dad goes, we're going to put a GPS on you to make sure you don't try anything cute. And it's like, what? First of all, you already had GPS on us and it didn't work.
Yeah. Secondly, dude, you're the FBI.
Yeah. This whole character is unnecessary and lame.
We couldn't find the other guy from the other movie who
why
was
not
just
bring him
like,
back?
hey, you've got to do the thing, you know?
There's a lot of different types of family, Brian.
This writer has never encountered a police officer in his life.
Which is weird, because like I said, John Singleton. This is a John Singleton movie.
Yes, but did he ever do any, like, movies involving cops?
Well, Boys in the Hood had this whole kind of thing, and...
Yeah, but that was the boys in the hood, not the cops in the hood.
You're right. Anyway, so...
This is a very white man movie, is what I'm trying to say.
They go back out, and Roman and Brian kind of talk to each other, and they goes, well, either we do the job and we die, or we don't do the job and we go to jail. He goes, yeah, that's kind of a bitch, isn't it?
That fucking sucks.
He goes, but what if there was another idea? We're delivering so much money, what if we kept a little bit of money back for ourselves? And Brian's like, you're right, man. They just messed with the wrong two guys. And he calls up Tej for some reason. Mm-hmm. So we go through a montage of us fixing up cars.
Because car porn.
Yeah. They make it all fancy. At one point, Brian asks for half-filled tanks of NOS. Mm-hmm. We don't know why until the end.
I'm still confused on why.
I'll explain.
Okay.
Also, this is kind of where I noticed Brian and Roman's chemistry is much better than Brian and Dom's.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, Brian and Roman are very, like, friendly with each other, even though they shouldn't be, but they are.
But here we are.
Dom is very much like, these are my family, these are my... I'm angry all the time.
I'm Vin Diesel.
I'm Vin Diesel and I'm angry. And, like, as you're watching, you're like, would you lighten the fuck up a little bit?
I'm Vin Diesel and I'm haunted, though.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's it, because, like, at least Brian, Tyrese Gibson, he's also a better actor. We're just going to get that out of the way. He's funny and he's kind of jokey and he lightens up the movie a little bit. So this is where they talk about why Brian let Dom go. Good scene. Solid. So the day of the job, they pick up the two bad guys. The money is being stashed in a mobile home. Like a trailer. Mm-hmm. They bash that shit with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And they take the money out. And the guy from earlier, the bent police officer, I don't know if it's implied he waited the 20 minutes and then sent the police after him, or chickened out and sent the police after him. I think it's the first one.
Yeah, because they only had 20 minutes, right? So
yeah,
he's just like, after 20 minutes, the whole Miami-Dade Police Department will be on you.
So 20 minutes goes by, and then he sends the local police department, who have no idea Brian and Roman are on the FBI's side, which means we're in trouble.
So much trouble. Oh my god.
So here's where we come to the big climax. Mm-hmm. We probably have 30 minutes of this movie left.
Yep.
25 minutes of this movie left is this one action scene.
Fact.
And I have to say, it's fucking awesome. It involves, like, hundreds of different cars.
It does. Like, we have literally what appears to be the entire Miami-Dade police department.
They chase after, and then, like, they're crisscrossing through each other, causing cop cars to smash into each other. There's a moment where, like, a helicopter is chasing them, They shoot into Brian's car
With the EMP gun.
With the EMP gun, but it kind of like dislodges a little bit. Mm-hmm. So Brian crawls out of the car because he loves crawling out of speeding cars.
He does.
And like pulls it out, and then he throws it at another cop car, and then it hits it, and that one fries. And
then spins out of control, and all the other police cars forget how to dodge anything.
Yeah. In the thick of the chase, like I said, this goes on for 20 minutes at least.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. It's very well shot. There's no CGI to it. It's not trying to look cool with that slick kind of camera moves that we got a lot in the first movie. Mm-hmm. It's just a straight up well shot car chase.
It was very good.
And at one point, like Brian gets the guy beside him to like hold the wheel while he gets out and takes out the harpoon and throws it at the guy. Mm-hmm. And then he like takes the wheel back and they drive through the thing. And the guy looks at him and goes, "You're a good driver." And Brian goes, "Thanks, man." So at one point, the police look like they're closing in because there's just no way you can escape that many cars for so long.
No, you cannot.
So Brian and Roman drive into this like back lot and then into a garage, which is a stupid idea until this happens. So as cool as that last scene was, it gets better here. Because like they drive into the garage, and the garage got like 5 different garage doors. They drive in, they wait a couple seconds, and then all 5 of them open. And out drive 5 of these big like trucks. And they just careen into the police department.
Yeah.
Pushing them out of the way.
Like they're monster trucks. Like
they're just barely not monster trucks. They push them out of the way, creating like a little diversion. And then they open up the doors again and outpour what, honest to God, must be 100 cars.
Yeah, like, I don't, like, we must have had, like, access to hammer space. Because way more cars than I think could fit in that garage come out of that garage.
The garage turns into an airplane hangar. And honest to God, 100 cars pour out. And it's not like 20 cars and then we digitally doubled them. There are 100 cars on this shot. And then like they all just come pouring out and create what they call a scramble. And it's everybody like we met earlier. And they just like swish around and try to create a distraction. Honest to God, it's really cool to watch.
And so we lose our protagonists in the scramble.
Yeah, and I was going to say, not only do the police lose Brian and Roman, we lose Brian and Roman.
Yeah,
we can't tell which car is which. Eventually, they break loose. Brian tells them to break. And so they pour out into the streets. And eventually, we locate them, and then we start chasing them again. And they drive to a pier, and they've run out of room. So the 2 cars stop, and the police surround them. And then the FBI is like, "Damn it, they got them. They're out. And they open the doors, and out walks Suki and Tej. And Tej goes, "Damn, man, I know my license is a little out of date, but this is a little ridiculous." Brian and Roman switched cars. They switched cars from the fancy ones to the ones they won against the 2 guys. And they are completely clear. Nobody knows where they are, not even the FBI.
Because fuck the police.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I know my tags were out of date, but damn. They only got one more issue because they still have the 2 guys with them. And so Roman goes like, "Hey, man, it's you like this car?" He goes, "Yeah, it's nice." He goes, "I can do all kinds of stuff. You know a button I really like? I like this button." And he holds up a button. And he's like, "Yeah, this one's really good." And then he slams his head against the dashboard a couple of times.
Which I thought was just, this is great. Slams his head against the dashboard, and he fucking ejects him out the car.
Yeah, hits a button, and it's an ejector seat. That is those half tanks of nitrous oxide, that's what they use them for. They retrofitted him, and so they would use it. If it was too much, it would just fucking killed them. But this one just chucked him out the door.
Well, he threw him into gator water. He's basically dead now.
Oh, one time. So yeah, he hits a button, and they installed an ejector seat using those half tanks. Whoosh, out they go. Or out one goes. Brian is still kind of talking. He's got his hand on the button. And like he's thinking for a bit. And he's like, he's kind of a good guy, but I'm gonna hit the button. And the guy goes, make a turn here. He goes, why? There's no airstrip over there. He goes, who said we're going to an airstrip? So he turns. They got misinformation. Monica was told about an airstrip. They are not using an airstrip or a plane. They are using a boat.
Yes.
And so they get to the place. Brian hands him the money that he has. They split the money in two. And he hands him all the money he's got. Mm-hmm. And Verona's like, so, why are there so many cops on my airstrip? And he goes, fuck if I know. I don't know. He goes, I only told one person about that airstrip. Monica. To which she's like, hey. Fuck. And so he's like, okay, you come on my boat, kill him. So Roman and the FBI get to the airstrip, and they're like, hey, can't help but notice nobody's here. What the hell? And so Roman's like, oh, that means Brian ain't coming. I gotta go. And so he gets in his car and drives away. Mm-hmm. The bad guy drives, or Brian is forced to drive the bad guy out to the thing, out to like a quiet spot, and then he'll kill him. He goes to hit his ejector seat button, but it fails. And so Brian's like, guess I'll die.
That's why I was concerned about the half tanks. I thought why no push?
Yeah, it's just...
that man should be knee deep in bushes.
Yeah. So he's just like, well, that's going to suck. And in comes Roman to save the day, because of course he does. So they throw him out. There's a scene where, that scene in Office Space where they beat on the printer for a while?
Yeah.
And it's in like that downward angle, and you see the bat hitting the... That's what they do, but with like them kicking him a couple of times. And it's funny because like Roman's like, all right, man, come back. He's like, yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, Monica. So they drive down the way. The boat is already in the water. So they take a car and drive on the road alongside the water. And they're driving, and they're like, how are we going to do this? And Brian's like, I have an idea, but you're not going to like it. And Roman's like, boat, car, boat, car, boat, car. Brian, you're not thinking of what I think you're thinking, are you? And he goes, do you trust me?
No, not a damn thing.
Not even a little bit. Thank you for asking. So there's a ramp remember what I said earlier that the bridge was foreshadowing the finale? Mm-hmm. So there's a ramp at the end of this road. And the whole time Tyrese Gibson is doing the Chris Rock thing, or I'm sorry, the Chris Tucker thing, mm-hmm. Where it's like, man, you crazy, Brian, you crazy, Brian, you crazy, Brian. And they reach top speed, they hit that ramp, and defy every single law of physics, because he must jump 60 feet.
Yeah, that's true.
He must jump 60 feet over the water, into the boat. They land on top of it.
Yeah.
Somehow they don't kill anybody.
Which is surprised. They should have killed like 3 people.
Roman breaks his arm. Brian goes away without a scratch.
They should both have whiplash.
At the very least. So they crash onto the boat. And up comes Vernon, who's just like, okay, gonna kill you now. And he's got a shotgun. And Brian's just like, no, gun. And he shoots him in the shoulder. And Vernon goes like, well, that sucks. Still gonna shoot you. Gonna get up. And then Monica goes from beside him, and she's just like, you're under arrest. And we finally get to arrest the big bad guy.
He gets medical attention before he's arrested, which is the most unrealistic thing about the
That's true. You ain't dying. So it's the wrap up. Roman survives with just a broken arm. Brian is absolutely spotless. Mm-hmm. They talked to James Remar about how everything went. They found half the money. They couldn't find the other half, but it was more than enough to put Vernon away. Mm-hmm. So their records are completely wiped clean. And Roman goes like, all right, all our records are clean? He goes, yeah, absolutely. He goes, all right. He gets up and he hands 3 bags to him. And he goes, I guess there were 6 bags altogether. And just like, all right, man, cool. Around getting patched up, before getting sent to jail, Vernon like kind of stares daggers at him, and Roman goes, "Don't drop the soap!" Ha 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 ha. And then like they laugh, and then you hear Brian go, "You know when he gets out, he's gonna kill you, right?" Yes, he's not gonna get out, right? Brian, he's not gonna get out, right? Brian, you think he's gonna get out? Brian and Roman's records are clean. Vernon has been arrested. Eva Mendes is on the up and up. She never turned. Also, she doesn't end up with Brian.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Roman and Brian team up. They choose to stay in Miami and open a garage.
With the money that definitely...
I was going to say, with what money, you ask?
With what money that is definitely not drug money that should have gone to the FBI.
Yeah, Roman's got like a bunch of money in his waistband. It's just enough to do what it is that they need.
Yeah, it wasn't just Roman who had it in his waistband. Wasn't white shirt there also hiding money?
If you did, I didn't see it.
Yeah, all right.
They get enough money to get by. Everyone's happy. Curtain down. Despite myself, as this movie kept going, I liked it more and more. It's not a good movie. Like, let's be clear, you and I. But especially in that last half, I'll be damned if I wasn't entertained. That big like action scene at the end, like it's so well done.
Yeah.
It's crazy the amount of work that went into it. Paul Walker is not a great actor.
Nope.
He's not really a leading man.
No. Like,
he was solid. He kind of played off Vin Diesel well. Because they're both kind of like lame. I think this movie, I liked the amount of energy that Tyrese Gibson put into the role.
That's true. He did great.
I thought that was really good. And like I said, it's dumb. It's a dumb movie. It's not good.
No. But it's fun.
It's like, are you watching TNT at like midnight? Hey, Too Fast, Too Furious is on. And I'll be real with you. Maybe in spite of or because of all of these things, I liked it better than the first one.
Well, yes, it's better than the first one. The scenes are better. And, like, it made more logical sense.
It felt more cohesive.
Yeah. It answered some questions. We were just like, why the hell isn't every goddamn police department looking for this guy?
Yeah.
They are. They just suck at their job.
No, they are. He's just really good, and now he's getting a way out.
Yeah, and the FBI are so bad at
their
jobs.
They are so bad at their jobs. But yeah, so I gave the first one a 4. Honestly, I might give this one a 6.
Really?
Yeah. Now, you didn't take to this as well as I did, eh?
Well, it's better than the first one, right? And
right.
I appreciate the driving scenes, right? They were very, very good. But, like, if you didn't read me the plot just now, I have no idea what the hell we were doing.
That's the reason I do. Especially...
I do not individually recall the plot of this movie. It's like Transformers. I've seen, like, 3 Transformers movies. I cannot tell you what the Transformer movies are about.
I'm going to be real with you. Halfway through typing the plot, because I type out the entire plot. I don't, like, use Wikipedia. Through typing out the plot, I look back at some of the other stuff. I'm like, I don't really remember that. Because it is kind of, like I said, the second half is better than the first half.
It is, yes.
And it kind of saves the movie from being a kind of a disaster. But this sort of, it takes itself a little bit less seriously.
It takes itself less seriously, but it gets up its own butt on how cool it thinks it is.
It does. This movie thinks it's so cool. And it was at the time. Like, you got to put yourself back in 2003. This movie was, like, the pinnacle. Not critically. Critically, it was lambasted. But, like...
if critics hated this movie, huh?
Oh, hell yeah. If you were 13, which I was,
That's true. I would be too, wouldn't I?
You would be 12.
Oh.
Yeah, if you were 13, or actually, hell, even 12, a 12, 13-year-old teenage boy, this was your shit. This Need for Speed Underground, like I said in the first one, this was cool, man. And now it seems silly. I also feel this movie was a little bit less douchey than the first one.
It is less douchey, but it traded douchiness for up its own butt.
For smarm?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
Which I'm okay with, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But, like, guys...
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6. I am a little disappointed in myself. But
I'm giving it a 5.5.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Really, you're giving it a 5.5. So we're not that far off.
We're not that far off. Like, the second half and the thing with the scramble was really fun.
Yeah.
Why that guy took his shirt off, I don't know, but I enjoyed what I saw.
I don't know why that happened, but thanks.
This movie clearly isn't catering to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly catering to anyone who subscribes to toxic masculinity.
True. I felt that was less here, too.
It was less because we have Suki. Well,
Suki's whole, actually, and like all women in this movie except for Eva Mendes, their whole job was to wear skimpy clothing.
Yeah. But Suki got to drive a car, and her car was unabashedly female.
That's true.
It was pink, it was fluffy.
It had
anime characters on it.
It was very kawaii.
It was very kawaii. And they took Suki seriously. They didn't just like, oh, she's a girl,
That's true. Because like when Suki raced, she was just a racer.
Yeah.
Like when Michelle Rodriguez did it last time, they're just like, you shouldn't be there. You should be at home making my supper. And then she's like, I will beat you because I am a strong, independent woman. That's stupid.
Yeah, but the fact that they were just like, oh, Suki's in this. Okay, moving on.
And Suki came in second.
Yeah. Suki's got balls. She took the jump.
Yeah.
I mean, it wrecked her car, but...
Yeah, but still she did it.
Yeah.
Terrible actress, though. I'm sorry, Devin.
Absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, lady.
I was going to say, Devin Aoki was really cool in the movie Sin City.
Was she? Who was she?
She was...
was she a stripper?
She was Miho. Yeah, she was the stripper with the sword.
Oh, yeah, because Miller is awful.
Yeah, Miller's awful. But she was really cool in that movie, mostly because her character was silent.
She looks cool.
She does. Visually. She has a great look about her, eh?
Yeah, she visually looks great. Which is why she's here. She looks great.
She looks cool, and she looks like she can kick your ass. Which I'll bet you she can.
Probably. Actually, there's no probably about it. She could definitely kick my ass.
Yeah, straight up.
No, but toxic masculinity aside,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you subscribe to it and you put all of your eggs in a basket about cars, this is the movie for you.
This is your movie, and I like I said, I think it's better than the second one. Or it's better than the first one. I feel it's all like kind of copacetic.
Mm-hmm. It's a better movie. It's definitely a better movie.
Which honestly surprised me. Mm-hmm. I always thought this movie was... The title doesn't help it, because I thought it was dumb.
Well, I think it knows.
Yeah.
I think it knows a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why you enter the time stream continuum when you hit the NOS button.
Yeah. But you want to see dumb. Coming up next week is 3 Fast, 3 Furious, otherwise known as The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Because if you ain't out of control, you ain't in control.
To this day, I don't know what that means.
We watched the trailer for this movie a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I have never seen Tokyo Drift. I know you know. You haven't.
No, I have not.
And the trailer looks so bad.
So we couldn't get Paul Walker. We got, what was it called? The non-union Mexican equivalent.
The non-union Southern equivalent of Paul Walker. I don't know his name, but he's got such a thick Southern accent. And like that is like, because the movie takes place in Tokyo, so they want to separate him so violently from Tokyo. Mm-hmm. Your atypical American accent is Southern. So
fair enough.
That's what they got. I think Bow Wow was in it.
Do we always have to find a rapper for these movies?
I guess. But there's
nothing more of a male power fantasy of being a white man doing a minority's job somehow better and learning it in half the time that they did it. Like, what was that movie starring Clint Eastwood with like 6 threesomes in it?
Oh, The Mule.
The Mule, right? Someone once said that it is a male power fantasy because he is an old white man that can somehow do a Mexican man's job better than he could in half the time at twice his age.
That was John Mulaney, and Pete used to date Ariana Grande. What's his name?
Oh, that one guy, Davidson, right?
Pete Davidson. Thank you. But yeah, so that is next week's movie. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
This is going to get racist. I can feel it.
I'm worried. This is the third movie. Absolutely nobody comes back. So I guess that's the end of the Brian O'Connor saga.
For now.
Or is it? For now. For now it is.
I know Hobbs and Shaw, he just not in it, so, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But there we have it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. If you want to keep in touch with us, if you want to see what we're doing the rest of the week when we're not talking to you, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Empty Square, EMPTYSQUARE. Cutes.
I am at Aquadia_. Link in the doobly-doo.
Link in the doobly-doo. What else do we on? You can, if you are so inclined and you're like, hey, I got money I don't need. I just recently took out an Argentinian drug lord and I have money in my waistband. Why don't I give it to those guys I listen to sometimes on YouTube?
If you'll love me, you'll support me.
Yeah. You don't have to, but I mean, if you really loved us, you'd go to the patreon.com/emptysquare. Wow, I hurt myself. No, but seriously, if you feel like it, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. We're chilling. Thank you very much for even just watching. Patreon.com/emptysquare.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. We're almost through this thing. Get vaccinated if you can.
Yes. Check with your doctor to see what group you're in.
Yeah.
Do not deny them if they're just like, oh, we can get you a vaccine tomorrow. And be like, no, that's okay, because they will just throw it away. Yeah. This isn't a situation where they're just like, oh, you should give it to someone else. They won't. They'll just throw away your vaccine and order more.
Get vaccinated. Say your prayers. Eat your vitamins.
Yeah.
What else Hulk Hogan say?
The N-word.
The N-word. Don't say that.
Do not
actually, you know what?
Unless you're black, do not say the N-word.
I shouldn't have went with Hulk Hogan. What did Macho Man say? Ooh, yeah.
I'm supposed to say, he's not the racist one who said all the homophobic stuff, is he?
No. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week, next Monday probably.
Yep.
And we will continue on this crazy train. I think next series, whatever we do, you should probably pick it.
Okay.
Because I went with this one, and it's so clearly condoned to the male fantasy.
You know we're watching anime, right?
Is there an anime series? Like a series of movies?
Yeah, they do them all the time. We could watch Persona 3. That's a series of movies.
Oh, shit.
That's like 3 or 4 movies.
Wow. All right, that actually fits. Well, we'll see when we get there. But yeah, until next time. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.